Chris Liepe here with Jonny Craig, formerly of Dance Gavin Dance, formerly of Slaves, formerly of Emerosa, and a thriving solo artist. We are talking about Rasp and a little bit grit. These are somewhat interchangeable, but Rasp has an airier quality to it, and grit has a more heated quality. And we're going to be touching on both in this video. Okay. But before we get into it, if you'd like to go deeper with Jonny's approach, click the link below and join our free course called
Find Your Voice and Let It Kill You.
Based off a song title, I believe.
It's actually the name of my CD, but it's actually based off of a quote by Charles Bukowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in this course, we unpack more of what makes Jonny's voice tick and how you can put some of that into your own voice as well. Let's get into some Rasp.
Yeah, let's show them how they can get that Jonny Craig. I met you at a little madness. I don't care, she was magic. I met you at a little madness. I don't care, she was magic. Rasp.
Spencer has a low-level grin up on his face.
I'm just like putting two and two together. I'm just like, now that you were talking about this, like the breathier aspect of the rasp versus the grit.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was like, who does that really well? And I was like, Bruno Mars. Like he's like,
oh yeah,
yes.
very good at it. Yeah.
It's like that
right.
fucking,
He has like a yell.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's like that James Brown.
Hey, yeah.
That's what James Brown is. It's
Yeah.
like
Even Michael Jackson, like, Jamona. Like he had that little
Totally.
like, yeah.
Not the grit. The
Yeah.
No, it's like that sound, right?
It definitely. No matter how you're doing it, it sounds like you're pushing, no matter what.
Right.
But it's more air, but you're not using your throat. It's coming from here.
Right. Exactly.
It's like control.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a controlled push.
That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Spencer's in the back running the cameras, and that was
was
a really good insight. Rasp, grit, they're functions of compression, which is how you use air, holding back air, right? One of the things that we hear very prominently even in your speaking voice and in your sort of middle singing before it really breaks up and gets really heated, is we hear this kind of sound coming over the top of your normal voice, right? So if you just say like, oh, right, there's that rasp there.
Yeah.
And what you've done is over the years, from drug use, from smoking cigarettes.
Never smoked cigarettes.
Never smoked cigarettes. Okay.
Was never a big cigarette smoker.
Well, we'll stick
weed.
with weed. Okay. Well,
Never cigarettes.
We'll stick with drug use.
Yeah, I was like drug use.
And maybe some alcohol in there, but and lots of singing. You have trained your muscle memory to rely on that sort of sound.
Yeah.
In a way that a lot of people have not.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and my voice is an example of that. It's naturally not raspy.
Yeah.
People have naturally raspy voices. You are an example of this. I would say, though, that it wasn't always natural. It wasn't always naturally a part of your voice. This is something that's been trained into your voice, in some cases, not by singing, but by lifestyle habits.
Yeah.
And then you have milked it. You've milked the positions and the muscle memory that has happened as a result of some lifestyle choices. You've milked that into your singing.
It's given it character.
It has.
Coming back to character.
Yeah, it really has. And it sounds great.
And I'm not saying go out and do that either, but...
And we're also not saying that you need to do that stuff. You know, there's this thing out, I know a lot of people say this kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, you want a good raspy voice? Go smoke a bunch of packs of cigarettes and age 20 years and then you'll have... That's one way to do it, but there's a lot of other ways to make this work for you in a technique-focused way. We can build some of this rasp into our voice by simply being mindful of the different ways our vocal tract works with our airflow, and that is compression.
All right, going along with what Chris just said, it's very important that you do not try to imitate, raspy singers such as myself. it's very important that you do it properly with the guided technique, because doing it wrong can cause extreme damage to your vocal cords, and then you're not going to be able to do exactly what you want to do and other things. You're going to damage your throat to the point where you won't be able to sing properly.
Right. You didn't get rasp by imitating another singer. You got rasp by being inspired by some other sounds,
Yep.
but not by imitating. Like, oh, I want to have that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, back to what we were talking about with Spencer and Jonny and I at the beginning. The best way to awaken rasp in your voice, in your own voice, is by doing a huh, huh, huh. Right. Huh. Because what we're doing is we are, with this sound, huh, huh, we are pushing a lot of air through, and then we're trapping it suddenly. Then our vocal cords are being engaged, right? So we have this, if we were to really break down, there's this thing that's happening, and then we're combining these things. And if you listen to guys like Bruno Mars, you know, hey, you know, I'm not Bruno Mars, but that flavor, there is a flavoring of that sound in what Bruno Mars does, and there's absolutely a flavor of what that is in your voice.
Yes, sir.
So to awaken that sensation in your voice, and try it in different parts of your range. Try it in your head voice.
Kind of like a scale almost.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And let your voice do. Let your voice do what it does. Don't try to go for specific notes, but feel that engagement. Feel the semi-air blockage first, and then feel your vocal cords engage. This is the first way to awaken rasp. So
Find where it feels most comfortable.
Okay, now when he does it, you get into not only rasp, but you're building grit on top of it, which is the next level of holding back air that happens when we pursue this air getting caught by the area above our vocal cords. This is the false chord area. This is the area above our larynx. When you go, and you kind of do that old man thing, and you pause in that area, you are creating a partial blockage with your false chord area. If I hold back more air and I push more from my primary support area, we get grit. So we can transition from rasp to grit, and we can teeter in the middle, which is where you land all the time. You're teetering in the middle of that.
Yeah.
He has trained his upper vocal tract, his false chord area, to engage almost automatically. Yeah. There is nothing in your voice that suggests you have vocal nodes. There's nothing in your voice that suggests you have poor vocal cord closure. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to belt like you normally do. You have trained your vocal tract to engage in this way. So let's get there.
Okay.
From someone who's cleaner and doesn't have that,
all right,
let's get there. So do some more h's for me.
Yeah, get some huh, huh, huh.
Okay, you heard on the very end of that, and then you heard the rasp, so you heard the grit and then the rasp. Push more air through initially.
The more the air gets pushed through, think of your voice as like a fist, and you're pushing the air more from the bottom. Think of it as a fist, and then this is what you're doing when you get to the grit by using that airflow. Think of it, you're covering your fist with like another fist. Think of your vocal cord as that. So your
whole vocal tract.
Yeah. So you're the more you're using that support, it's gonna, and that's gonna get that.
I like that. So if we start with and then we push a little bit more, and then focus on that even
you're
more.
Get that.
Right. So if we're just doing rasp, it's less push. It's softer.
Yeah. you get, but then you get the, if you want that.
And that doesn't hurt you at all.
No.
That feels good. You're creating this heat, and it's above your vocal cords.
You can tell when something's going to hurt you. When you're making those, like, noises, you can tell when something starts to burn really bad or something. Obviously, you need to lean back. You don't need to go that far.
And what you might experience when you're experimenting with and then pushing more, less, and focusing on the qualities of air, rasp, the initially versus when you're focusing on those different sensations, if it ever feels like it drops, below your voice box, in other words, the Cookie Monster sound that a lot of people, that doesn't work with our vocal cords in the same way.
You're not going to be able to make notes and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
You could do that quietly, but if you really want the you want that kind of grit, or you want that more seamless rasp.
If it drops, it's going to start to break as you're making those notes and stuff, and that's obviously not going to sound good on a track for holding a note or something like that. It will kind of like break a little bit.
All right, so 3 takeaways to developing your rasp. Start with a simple and keep in mind the different stages that happen during that Then try to hold back more air at the end of that Make sure it's placed above your voice box, above your larynx, and get a little bit of that crackly sound. This will often happen as you go a little bit down in pitch, although we're still not going for notes. Like that. Now, you're going to notice heat. You're going to notice a warmth in your vocal tract, but if it's high, it shouldn't cause you to cough. It shouldn't create tickles. It shouldn't cause you to go hoarse, as long as it's high. If you're coughing, if it's tickling, if it's causing you to feel like you're going hoarse, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
Right? The burning sensation, if there's any, should be high. Let me say that again. If you're experiencing tickles, if you're experiencing the need to choke or cough, you're doing it wrong. It is very possible to play with the sensations and the placement of the and make sure it's above your vocal cords and not have any issues at all.
So one thing that is extremely important while doing this, you need to make sure that you are warmed up before you start trying a technique like this. You don't want to start right off the bat because, again, that's going to cause, some sort of vocal damage that you don't want.
And cracking, right? You're not going to be able to dial it in if your primary cords aren't able to close well.
Of course.
Right?
Yep.
They got to be good and juiced.
They need to be nice and warmed up. So make sure whatever your warm-up is, however you feel comfortable doing that, you do that first before trying this technique.
Again, lots of inspiration from studying Jonny Craig's voice. This is a different approach to rasp and grit than I have looked at in the past, but effective. And there's lots of ways to go around and learn from other singers and create opportunities in your own voice. If you'd like to go deeper with Jonny's approach, click that link below and join the free course.
Find your voice and let it kill you.
Your voice won't kill you. Your voice won't die. You won't die, but it's what we called the course. So click that link below. We'll see you for more.